यशोदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे जयो प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा जयो गुरु महाराज जयो गुरु महाराज जयो गुरु महाराज निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर निताय गौर निताय गौर निताय गौर निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Thank you, Akash.
So Hare Krishna. Normally Manjunath does a nice introduction to the speaker, but today he's one of the speakers. So I will do give a little introduction, both Manjunath and Akash Prabhu. I haven't asked you for a bio, but I will just say that you both of you been part of Yatra for 1 or 2 years, not long, but you have joined, merged in very nicely, enthusiastically with the Yatra and take an active role in its running. So we are very, very proud of both of you for doing that, and we can see your enthusiasm for serving the Lordships. So today you're going to try something you haven't done before. So please enlighten us on chapter 14 of Bhagavad-gita as best as you can.
Thank you so much.
Begin with invocations.
Yeah. At the outset, I'd like to thank the senior devotees for giving us this opportunity to discuss on this wonderful book. We are nowhere qualified to discuss about this beautiful teaching, so please forgive us if we do mistakes. This is for the first time, at least I'm giving a discourse for the first time, so please do forgive me if I make mistakes. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanaslakaya Chaksuranmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruven Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarane Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome everyone for joining this Bhagavad-gita session on chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. Today we will discuss chapter 14 of the Bhagavad-gita, and this chapter explains how the living entities are under the three modes. Krishna explains what these modes are, how they act upon the living entities, how one can transcend these modes, and what are the symptoms of one who have attained the transcendental state. So the approach would be that I would be taking care of the first 15 verses, followed by my partner today, who would be discussing this course further from verse number 16 to verse number 27. Is that okay, Vidya Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you. So in between, I'll be reading some Sanskrit verses as well to begin with. So I'll start with text 1. Sri Bhagavana Uvacha Parambhuya Pravaksyami Jnananam Jnanam Uttamam Yajnatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Ito Gataha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again, I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection." Text 2. Idam jnananam upashritya mama sadharmyam agataha sarge apino pajayante pralaye na vithanti cha. So, we learned in chapter number 13, Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness, that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from the material entanglement. So, in this first verse of this chapter, the three modes of material nature, Krishna is telling Arjuna it is because of these three modes that the living entity is entangled in this material world. Krishna is further explaining to Arjuna that the knowledge that he is going to impart in this chapter is superior to what he has already discussed in the previous chapters. So it's a great opportunity for all the followers of Bhagavad Gita. If we can grasp this knowledge, we can come to that stage of perfection and can be transferred to the spiritual world. So this is my understanding of text number 1. Text number 2, my understanding is when the living entity is fixed in his practice of devotional life and attains the spiritual world, they are further engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada actually explains that the spirit soul is qualitatively one with the Lord. It's a beautiful analogy that Prabhupada is making here, that one drop of water from an ocean is qualitatively identical to the large sum of water in the ocean, which means one drop of water is the spirit soul and the large sum of water is Krishna. So qualitatively, it is to be understood that the spirit soul is one with the Supreme Lord. And further, my understanding is that we've learned in the previous chapters that one who remembers Krishna at the time of death is elevated to his abode and has a body similar to Krishna. So the living entities who are elevated to that level will not be affected by the creation and annihilation of the material worlds, which are happening on a continuous basis. We understand this with the facts how Lord Vishnu is inhaling and exhaling the universes. So the living entities who are already discharging devotional service in the spiritual world, they are not affected or bothered by this creation and annihilation process of the material worlds. I'll go to text 3 now. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadami aham sambhava sarva bhutanam tado bhavati bharata. Translation: the total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. Text 4. Sarvayonesu kaunteya murtyas sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So here, my understanding of these two verses 3 and 4 is that originally all the living entities are residents of the spiritual world. This is what we understand from the Shastras. And Krishna has given all the living entities a minute free will, and it is up to the living entities how to use this minute free will, whether to be in the devotional loving service or to be independent. So Krishna does not interfere with the free will he has given to the living entities. So Krishna has created this material world, which is herein stated as the Mahat Tattva, which is the cause of the total cosmic manifestation, in which we have these modes of material nature, which are goodness, passion, and ignorance. We will take one by one in detail in the coming texts. So this Mahat Tattva is sometimes being referred to as Brahman. So Krishna impregnates this Brahman, and innumerable universes are formed into the material universes. And Krishna is mixing his nature, and all living entities are born into this material world. So this is how the creation process is happening as per Krishna's directions. So Srila Prabhupada is giving a beautiful analogy in this purport of verse number 3 and 4, that a scorpion lays its eggs in piles of rice, and a foolish person may think that the scorpion is born out of rice. But the reality is that the rice is not the cause of the scorpion's birth, isn't it? So the eggs that were laid by the mother, those are actually the cause for the birth of the scorpion. Similarly, the material world is not the cause of the birth of the living entities, because we are spirit and originally we are from the spiritual world. So the seed is given by Krishna, and the living entities, according to their past deeds, have different bodies created by this material nature, so that the living entity in that body can enjoy or suffer. So as I said, we've got a minute free will, and based on that, we've become independent of Krishna, and we are actually suffering or enjoying the fruits of our activities in this material world. So text number 4, the understanding is that from the scriptures, there are 8,400,000 species of life in this material world, right from Lord Brahma, who is the topmost living entity in this material universe, to the invisible bacteria. So there are countless living entities living in this material world. And if we just take the example of this world, there are about 8,000 million people living on this planet Earth. Now, I'm just talking about human beings here. So all the living entities, apart from the human beings, which are 400 species of life, as per the calculation given in the Shastras for the human beings. So all the living entities are a combination of spirit and matter. So we have been given this body according to our past deeds, and this body which we have now, through which we are discharging different types of activities, will decide our next body. So this is the understanding. Therefore, having come to this platform of human life, where we have been blessed by the Lord by intelligence of discriminating between what is good and what is not good, we should be extremely careful in executing our activities, as these are factored into getting the next body. I'll go to text number.
Could I just make a small point here, please?
Yes, Prabhuji.
This verse is actually an important verse which gets quoted a lot.
Yeah.
Especially the second half and especially the last line.
Ambija Pradapita.
Ambija Pradapita. I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. And so, Krishna is the source of everything.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I'm even the source of all living entities.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quoted often. As you read Prabhupada books, you'll see it's quoted often.
Right. So I'll go to text number 5. Sattvam rajas tama iti guna prakarti sambhava nibattanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. So text number 5, the understanding is that the living entity is transcendental. As I said, we were from the spiritual world, we were living with Krishna, but because of some reason, we decided to misuse our free will and come to this material world. So the living entity is transcendental in nature, but because of its connection with this material nature, he becomes conditioned to the modes of the material nature. And Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example of rainwater. As you know, the rainwater is pure, but when it drops on the land, it becomes impure. So similarly, all the living entities which have different kinds of bodies, and in terms of different aspects of nature, they are prone to act accordingly. So this is the understanding of text number 5. I'll switch on to text number 6, 7, and 8 now, where Krishna is describing in detail about the 3 modes here: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Text number 6. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasham anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode becomes conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Text 7. Rajo ragat makan vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tan nimadnanti kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Text 8. Tamastva ajnana jam vidhi mohanam sarva dehinam pramad alasya nidrabhis tan nibatnanti bharata. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. So here, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna what are the different symptoms of the people who are in different modes, which are goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, in this material world, we see people who are happy. It could be the devotees of Lord. Someone can be active, um, who are really ambitious, who have greater desires, and they work really hard to achieve them. And the rest are lazy, helpless, and intoxicated. So these are the different kind of peoples that we see in the material world. So all these classes are causes of the conditioned state they are in. This is what Krishna is explaining in text number 6. So the first mode here is the mode of goodness. So the persons or the entities who are in the mode of goodness are not affected by the material miseries, and they have a sense of advancement in the material knowledge. Examples of the people in goodness could be Brahmanas, and in this mode, one is more or less free from sinful reaction. So the good example can be Brahmanas. But the difficulty with people in this mode is that they are conditioned to feel that they are superior than others. So this is the conditioning that is being put into in the mode of goodness, the people who are in the mode of goodness. Other examples of people who are in the mode of goodness, Prabhupada explains in the purport, are scientists and philosophers. So each of this is proud of their knowledge, and generally are these people are well placed and experience material happiness, and hence they are always puffed up. So this condition binds them into the material world, and they are again trapped into the cycle of birth and death. So it is to be understood that the mode of goodness is not the most superior mode. There is another state that we will be discussing further, which is called a Vasudev state, from where a living entity can elevate himself to performing or discharging Krishna conscious activities before going to the spiritual world. So text number 7 gives us some understanding of the people who are in the mode of passion. So Prabhupada explains that the living entities who are in this mode of passion want honor in nation and in society. So they want a happy life with a nice spouse and children, a nice big house. So in order to keep a happy family life, people in the mode of passion, what they do? They work really hard to derive happiness. So this modern world can be considered to be in the mode of passion, as everyone is working really hard to improve their economic condition and to be happy. So this is the symptom of people who are in the mode of passion. Next, text 8 is the mode of ignorance, where Prabhupada explains that in the purport, the mode of ignorance is the most degraded of the three modes. And why? The living entities in this mode, they do not understand a thing as it is. Prabhupada explains further that everyone in their families may have seen deaths. All of us, we have seen our grandparents or great grandparents, our relatives, our friends. We've seen them die. And Prabhupada further explains that the children that we've got, even they will die one day. But still, the living entities who are in this mode of ignorance choose not to make any inquiries about spirituality. The symptoms Prabhupada explains further in the mode of ignorance are that they are lazy, they sleep more than required, and they are addicted to intoxication, which keeps them in ignorance all the time. Okay, I'll switch on to text number 9 and 10. Satvam sukhe sanjayati raja karmani bharata jnanam avartya tu tama pramade sanjayati uta. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. Text 10. Rajastamas chabhi bhuya satvam bhavati bharata Raja Sattvam Tamaschaiva Tama Sattvam Rajas Tatha. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
Oh, just 1 second, please.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you. We're telling about the mode of ignorance. They're generally lazy and not working and, wasting the time and all that. But there are people like that. But in addition, there are people who are lazy, do nothing, and exploit others and make others work for them and enjoy. So, do they also come under the mode of ignorance? Because they are very intelligent, because they want to pass on the burden to others and, literally suck their blood, to put it in one word. So, what mode they are? Because they are intelligent, they are not idiots. You
Well,
understand what I'm
yeah, they are still considered to be in the mode of passion, in my opinion, because their ultimate motive is to enjoy life, enjoy the fruits of the action that others are performing, so that he can
Yes.
for himself.
But they are not working at all. So the passion people have to work. Like even Brahmaji is in the mode of passion, they're saying. Right? They have to work hard.
Lord Brahma is in the mode of goodness.
Mode of passion. Lord Brahma is not in the mode of passion. He is in charge of the mode of passion. Lord Brahma is Lord Brahma is in the mode of pure goodness. He's not in mode of ignorance. He's in Lord Shiva is in charge of the mode of ignorance. Obviously, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, right. So passion means hard work, isn't it?
Manjunath, you carry on. Yeah.
As we read about the modes more and more, not in just this chapter, but in further chapters following this, there'll be more and more description of what each mode symptoms are, and laziness is just one of them. But what you're talking about is other people enjoying themselves at the expense of others.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about. So
yes,
to me, that's a mixture of, because it's not just clearly, one of the three and nothing else. No, you can have mixed modes in people. So it's a combination of, to me, Rajagun and Tamagun when they do that. Okay.
Okay.
It's not unmuted. You go on then. Haribol, this is Haridas. Also, lazy means not doing your prescribed duties. That's what lazy is. Lying down and all that, because Lord Vishnu and Mahavishnu, they're lying down on Sheshnag. So somebody might say, well, they're lazy. But they do all the creation, they're the creating and everything like that. So it's not always like running around breathless and all that. No, lazy means you're lazy in doing your prescribed duties. And then some of them are cheating. They're not doing it, they're getting others to do it. And that's called exploitation. So not only they're ignorance, they're cheaters as well. And they're exploiting others. And there'll be karmic reaction because of that. So laziness doesn't mean inaction. It means you're not doing your prescribed duties.
But when it comes to things like, let's say someone's the head of a company and he's very intelligent, he doesn't have to himself personally be doing all of the tasks in the company. That's different. It's not that everyone who's in mode of passion, they all have to be working like a donkey. It's not like that. Otherwise, like you said, if the person has intelligence, they would even have some measure of mode of goodness. So Prabhupada classifies mode of goodness as the highly intelligent class, like the philosophers and scientists, etc. That's what Prabhupada does. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So text 10 further explains the mode of goodness, and Prabhupada is explaining here in this purport that there is always competition between the modes. The aim of life should be to defeat the modes of ignorance and passion and come to the stage of goodness first. I had a brief discussion about this with Guru Sevak Prabhu on Sunday, and he made me understand. He actually made me understand by citing an example how the atmosphere in the temple is actually helping people to come to the mode of goodness, right? So because of the activities which are being carried out in the temple, which are Shuddha Sattva, and because of the environment of the temple, one can experience the mode of goodness. But as soon as we come out of the temple, we become conditioned to the lower modes. And why is that? It's all because of the association. So one can understand the power of association, be it good or bad. When we associate with devotees, when we come to temple, engage in the activities associated with temple, then we are in the mode of goodness. But as soon as when we start discussing something else, then the other modes take over. So that was the understanding here. And by being in the mode of goodness, one can elevate himself to the mode of pure goodness, which is explained by Prabhupada as Vasudeva state, in which one can understand the science of God. So, as I said, the mode of goodness is not the most superior. It is good in a sense that it is better than the mode of passion and ignorance, because they know what is truth. But ultimately, one has to take this effort to elevate himself to the mode of pure goodness, where Prabhupada explains it to be a Vasudeva state, where one can further try and understand the science of God. Okay, I'll.
Could I just add a note here, please?
Yes, Prabhu.
In this text 10, where there's this different modes are prominent at different times, even us as devotees who are trying very hard to always be on the best behavior as devotees, sometimes situation arises and our anger comes out. We have a situation where anger, our voices get loud, we start shouting, eyes go reddish. And this is a symptom of what this is saying, that we are trying to rise ourselves to the platform of pure goodness. But while we're in the lower modes, all three of them, different times, different ones are more prominent, and we do succumb to them. Yeah.
But still, it is said, right, Prabhu, that this material world is the perverted reflection of the spiritual world, and the emotions that we have here in the material world, be it love, hate, jealousy, even we see that in the spiritual world. But it is ultimately to serve Krishna. But here also, if we are doing, or rather, having the same emotions, discharging these emotions in the temple, shouldn't it be considered to be in the mode of goodness, because ultimately it is associated with serving the lordships?
Not necessarily, because definitely the lower modes are at play sometimes. Sometimes definitely lower modes are in action.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Go to text number 11, 12, and 13 now. Text 11. Sarvadvaresu dehe asmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyad vivradham sattvam iti uta. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Text 12. Lobho pravartir arambhaha कर्माणम असमास पराहा राजसी एतनी जयन्ते विवर्धे भरत अर्षभा. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. Text 13. Aprakasho apravartischa pramodo moha evacha tamasi etani jayante vivardhe kuru nandana. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. So, my understanding and realizations from verses 11 to 13 is that Prabhupada is explaining what is the position of the goodness mode here. Coming to text number 11 first. Prabhupada is explaining that there are 9 gates in the human body. There are 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, the mouth, genitals, and anus. Prabhupada very nicely explains people in the mode of goodness. They can see things clearly, hear things properly, taste things in the right position, and becomes clean inside out. So all the 9 gates are engaged in the right position and to elevate oneself further to understand God. So these are some of the further symptoms of the people who are in the mode of goodness. For the mode of passion, text well describes the symptoms of a person in the mode of passion. And what is that? Person in this mode of passion is never satisfied with the position that he has already acquired. So we see that in most of the people's lives, including ourselves, isn't it? So we've graduated or post-graduated from an university, have a nice degree, started a job or business, initially at a lower position in a company or making less profit in a business, but ultimately in this mode, we are constantly thinking how we can improve our economic condition. So this is the mode of passion. For the mode of ignorance, in text 13, here it says, people in this mode refrain from acting piously and does not follow any regulative principles, and they act whimsically even though they have the capacity to work because they are lazy and intoxicated. So these are some of the some more symptoms of the people who are in the mode of ignorance.
Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, these 3 verses, especially the last 2, 12 and 13, are describing nicely, what happens to somebody who's in these modes. In the text 9, there's one word which came up which I liked. It says, the ignorance covering knowledge binds one to madness. So another description of modes is ropes. Yes, ropes. Could you, because people sometimes may not understand how these modes are binding them or acting on them. So maybe if you could explain the 3 modes in terms of ropes, it'll might make these verses
So
more.
Get that point regarding ropes, Prabhuji.
So, sorry?
You said ropes, right? In
Modes are compared to ropes. Do you come across that?
Not really. I didn't.
Okay, I will explain that.
Yeah.
I will explain.
Yeah.
Okay, so these 3 modes, sometimes even me, in my development, I was struggling with this, trying to come to grips with these modes, which are like ephemeral things out there. How can they affect me? So modes have also been compared to ropes. A gold rope, a silver rope, and
Bronze.
a bronze rope. Yeah, the chains, not ropes, chains. A gold chain, a silver chain, and a bronze chain. Okay, and you are tied up with them. These 3 chains are tying you up in different degrees, right? But the thing is, we can't see these chains, but they are there. And the symptoms of being tied by these chains is these behaviors which are being identified now. So I tell you, if it was a gold chain, then it will produce this sort of behavior in you. if it was silver chain, it will produce this type of behavior in you, and if it was a bronze chain, it will drive you to behaving in this particular way. So it's the binding word. We are bound by these modes, and our effort to become Krishna conscious, becoming Krishna conscious, is to free ourselves from these modes and rise to Shuddha Sattva, Vasudeva.
Yeah.
Shuddha Sattva. And one more example I will give about how, although these are invisible, but how they strongly affect us, these modes. I'm thinking about gravity, moon's gravity. We can't see it, but it affects all of us. No one can deny it. Gravity is there. It moves entire oceans during the tides. So, I'm trying to make people realize that although they're invisible, they have a powerful effect on us. I hope that helps to understand modes.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. So I'll come to text 14 and 15 now, and these two verses are actually explaining what happens to the people who are dying in the different kinds of modes. So text number 14, Yada Satve Pravadhetu Pralayam Yati Dehabrat Tadotma Vidam Lokan Amalan Pratipadyate. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. Text 15. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangisu jayate tata pralinastamasi mudha yonesu jayate. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. So Srila Prabhupada nicely explains what happens to those who leave their bodies in the mode of the different modes. Now, first is the mode of goodness. So those living entities who leave their bodies in the mode of goodness, Prabhupada explains that they attain to higher planets like the Brahma Loka, Jana Loka, Swarga Loka, etc. They live, the living entities who are transferred to these planets, they live there with the demigods and the sages for a long time. That's a different topic altogether. That the time in the higher planetary systems are extremely high as compared to what we experience here in this planet. So even though these higher planetary systems look wonderful from the outside and one may enjoy extreme material happiness, it must be understood that they cannot live there forever. Once their quota of punya is exhausted, they must return to this earthly planet and continue to transmigrate from one body to the other based on their karma. So Srila Prabhupada nicely explains how people have misconstrued that if a human being dies, he is again born as a human and go to Swargaloka by default, which is completely false. People in Bharat usually address the dead people as Swargvasi, not knowing where they have gone. They might have transmigrated to the lower species, might have gone to the lower planetary systems, but they still have, they get this title as Swargavasi, which is completely false. So this is what Prabhupada explains here in text number 14. And text number 15, this verse of the Gita confirms one who dies in the mode of passion have to take birth again among those who are engaged in fruitive activities. And the living entities who die in the mode of ignorance have to take birth in the animal kingdom and transmigrate from one body to the another in 8,400,000 species of life. So coming back again to the human life will take millions of years, isn't it? So therefore, it is extremely important to take advantage of the human body to come to the platform of the mode of goodness, practice Krishna consciousness, and transcend the mode of goodness and go back home, back to Godhead. That should be the aim of human life, especially the devotees.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Normally, it is, you can't be in one mode all the time. It's already a mixture all the time for anybody. I think 95% of the people, they have all the three modes. So how can you say that when they die, they go to this, go to that, go to this? Because, it's a mixture, right?
Not
For example,
always. Not always. All the
yes.
animals are in mode of ignorance. Always
Okay.
in mode of ignorance.
I mean
Animals
humans.
don't
I
go
mean.
into mode of passion and goodness. So they are in
Humans.
that mode, you know.
Human. I'm talking about humans, Prabhu.
No, we're talking about living entities. Modes are affecting
Okay.
everybody, not just humans. And
Okay.
the only thing is with the humans as well, there are
Yes.
some tribes, which are in mode of ignorance altogether. So they have a little bit of spiritual thing, like there is something there, but
Yes.
they're living, they're eating and everything, and they will never rise above it unless a saint goes there and changes them. And similarly, mode
Oh,
of passion, if there's a whole
yes.
community like in New York, stock exchange and all that, they're all
Yes.
fruitive activities, and
All the
they're in
time.
mode of passion, so the whole community. And as Prabhuji said,
Mm. Mm.
Manjunath, according to the association, that it can change. Otherwise, it'll stay. It's like that law that if something is going, it'll continue
Mhm.
going unless somebody comes and intervenes. So, sarvapadi vinirmukta,
Mm.
tatparatvena nirmalam. So upadi means influence. These influences are there. You have to zero it by making it purify, by neutralizing the influence. If you're under the influence of something, you stay in that mode. And
Mhm.
it's not the modes are changing you. You are in that mode. And then if you don't do anything about it, you're going to stay in the mode. And animals are classic. That's why he said it, 8,400,000 species. To become a human being is very rare. And that's where you can make the change through association and surrender. Otherwise, you'll stick to the modes. Like, there's a hellish planet. Where's there going to be
Yes.
Shuddh Satogun over there?
Right.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so you have to realize these modes are not really just in a person. These modes are in the universe. All three,
Everywhere.
Satagun, Rajagun, and all that. And that's why they're in balance when the night happens, when the devastation happens, they're all in balance. And when the creation starts, Mahavishnu gazes with his gaze called Sadashiva. He agitates the balance of the Satogun, Rajagun, Tamogun. That agitation then turns into more of passion. And that's why creation starts. So it's the Lord's
Mm.
will when to agitate. Otherwise, they're in balance when there's no creation. And then it's agitated. And then the whole Leela starts. And people who were in mode of goodness are born again in mode of goodness. And whatever position they were in the previous creation, they started off again like that. So the modes can be changed. They're not like climate and summer season and they're coming and being influenced. But if you're doing the activities, particular activities which are written down, then you will stay in that mode. And then there's a mixture of it. Like Viduprabhu said, even when you're trying to be a devotee, suddenly you're finding you just lost your cool and you're becoming angry or lusty or greedy. You think, where's that
Yeah.
coming from? Is something is latent in you, and through association or eating somebody's house, they can also increase your mode of ignorance or whatever. So eating, you got to be really, really careful where you eat. It can influence. We just come from doing a source at somebody's house. Premanji's brother passed away. Just come from London now. And I'm just going to have a shower. We didn't eat there. We didn't drink. Although it's Premanji's brother. And they offered us, said, sorry, we do pujari work, can't eat or drink. And they were having drinks and all that. Because that at the moment is mode of ignorance. When there's death, there's mode of ignorance there. So when we come home, I'm going to have a shower now and clean and all that, thinking,
Mm.
avoid the influence of death. Yes, Manjunath Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Just one more thing, Prabhu. Sorry. You're
Can
telling
I?
about the plat. Okay.
No. Amarnath, your question was about
Yeah.
specific destinations for people in mixed modes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So in a few weeks' time, it's going to be Christmas.
Yes.
If you go to the shops now, especially at peak hour, you see some incredible behavior in people building up to Christmas.
Yes.
Intense. There's an intensity and almost a frenzy in them.
Charity and all. Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of no. When you see them when they're shopping for Christmas.
Oh, shopping. Okay, passionate buying.
Incredibly, but almost like a frenzy in the shopping.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
It's very disturbing sometimes, but you just stand back and watch as a neutral observer. Also,
Yeah. Yes.
also a lot of animals are going to be killed all over the world
Definitely. Turkeys.
for this celebration of
Yeah.
goodwill.
Yes.
Christmas, goodwill to all, but at what cost to the animals?
Meat. Yes.
Right. So the intention is covered with the goodwill, but
Right.
the execution is horrible.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So although you're saying mixed modes, but there is an overriding mode in action here.
Right.
And to me, it's the tamagun which is overriding everything else here.
Prabhuji, I have
just one quick one. This mixed mode then will give you sometime in heaven, sometime in hell, and sometimes back in the planet Earth. So it's not one sentence only. So when you die, you go to Yamraj. He checks your activities, your karmic thing, your modes and everything. And then he says you're spending some time over there, some there, some there. So you'll be equally kind of be rewarded and punished. And so that's a little thing, yeah.
Right. So we have to understand that the entire material existence is running around the will and order and desire and plan of one supreme personality of Godhead. If there is stability in this material world, in people's lives, it's because of the all-pervading Supreme Lord. And in that particular Leela, entire existence, be it material or spiritual, is the estate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Imagine a person whose estate is the entire material existence, that is Siro Dakshai Vishnu. So under his superintendence, through his various agencies, Kala, Karma, the three modes of material nature, the so-called life of living entities from birth to death is made possible. So this is the perspective from which Krishna says, everybody follow my path. So it is said, Harer Nam, Maiva Kevalam, Kalav Nastaiva, Nastaiva Atirganyata. So the Vedas have concluded that the Hare Krishna mantra is the Maha mantra recommended for this age of Kali Yuga. So if you just follow Srila Prabhupada's direction, the direction laid by the authority, that should be the first level of purity for the living entity. And if you do this much at macro level, you are surrendered. And one must always strive to continuously improve the quality of service he or she is doing in the temple, and one has to continuously increase the quality of his sadhana. So increasing the quality of sadhana, one's quality of service is increased, quality of surrender is increased, and one becomes purified, and one gets transcendental knowledge. And one gets transcendental knowledge when he can act in a surrendered manner. So without knowledge, one cannot do pure devotional service, and that one can come from sadhana and service. So in this way, we can rise above the mode of goodness and come to this platform of Vasudeva state. That was just my realizations, Haridas Prabhu, Vidya Prabhu.
Thank you, Manjunath Prabhu. Very nice, Prabhu. Leave comments till the end. We want to hear Akash Prabhu now.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I really want to thank Manjunath Prabhu that he has beautifully covered verse number 1 to verse 15, where we discussed about like 3 modes of material nature, like how people are entangled with their own free will in these modes of material nature. And in my next verses, 16 to 27, I will be discussing about, okay, now we know these are the modes of material nature and how people behave in this one. So I'll be discussing about what are the symptoms of the living entities when they are in 3 modes of material nature, and what are their behaviors, and how we can transcend these 3 modes of material nature and can reach to the Brahman level, and then Paramatma level, and then finally our Lord Krishna. So I really want to thank senior devotees, because it's not by luck or by chance that we're getting a chance to speak about it. And this is my first ever lecture since I came into the Krishna consciousness. I started my journey in Bangalore, and then landed here in the United Kingdom. And then again, I remember how I came on my first day in the temple. So it's all Lord's mercy. So whatever I'm going to speak is absolutely spoken by Prabhupada ji, and it's not my speculation. It's just that I've added few examples into it. So if anything you feel it's wrong and something you wanted to comment, please stop me right away, or maybe you can comment at later stage about that. Okay, this was not right, but whatever I'm speaking today is absolutely from the Guru Vani. So verse number 16. Karmana sukrtashayu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajastu phalam dukham ajnanam tamsha phalam. In this, Lord is saying the result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance result in foolishness. So Manjunath Prabhu has covered from verse 1 to 15, like how people, like what will be the results that comes out from the mode of passion and from mode of ignorance. So in this verse, Prabhupada is explaining mostly about the people who are in the mode of passion. Let's say what happens. Prabhupada took a very beautiful example of a skyscraper. Let's say somebody wanted to build a skyscraper. So a lot of people will be involved into that. Like there is a planning team, need a lot of funding, like a lot of money need to build in that. And there will be an architect who is designing. So if you see, like whoever is involved from starting till the end, let's say laborers, a lot of laborers are required. They will be paid very less, and they work hard for 12 hours. So a lot of people are involved into it. And if you see each and every one, they are passionate in building this skyscraper, but at the end of the day, they have a lot of misery. Means the person, the architect, he's so much tensed when the project gets completed, and this guy, he's putting a lot of pressure on the labor because of his misery. He's putting a lot of pressure on the people who are working under him, and the architect getting a pressure from the people who have invested the money. So if you see in the whole circle, everybody is so tensed and they feel so miserable. Similarly, even if the bhakti is done in the mode of passion, it can also lead to the miseries. Like could be like, let's say Manjunath Prabhu was speaking about, Vidur Prabhu was giving example, like we get sometimes what happens, we are in the like in the mode of passion, and in the temple, let's say we are in the mode of goodness, but all of the sudden we get easily angry because of one of the activity is not happened according to your what you wanted it. So that's the reason, like most of the people, if you see in the mode of passion, they do like in such way. So reacting on the situation rather than being neutral and acting only when needed. So we can see the yogis are in the mode of goodness and always neutral. But when time comes, with the permission of Lordship and Guru, they really act. I was just watching a video once on the Instagram. So there was a one sadhu living in the Bhajan Kutir as very remote place in Chitrakoot. So, and it was Mandakini Nadi was flowing nearby that, and they will be living for many years. But what happened, all of a sudden, some passionate people, they came, they found this place very wonderful, and they started creating some nonsense things. So initially, I think from a few couple of months, that sadhu did not tell anything to those and simply warned them. But later on, the news came that sadhu has beaten with one one danda everybody, like 30 to 40 people. So he acted when needed, because that was like very shant place, like where all the bhajan, kirtan, satsangs were happening. So that's how happened when most of the time we have to, in the mode of goodness, we have to be neutral and not neither overreact or neither less react, but when needed, we have to do it in that way. So what are the symptoms of ignorant people? So those who are in the mode of ignorance take birth as animals in their next life. Even if you see, animals' lives are very miserable, because most of the people in the world, they say, oh, human life is not that valuable. If you see, I wanted to become like a peacock or like a tiger, because they are very good. See, they sleep, they eat, right? Isn't it? They don't have to walk, they don't have to earn, something like that. Human have a lot of pressure. But if you see, even a bird who eats the seeds, which let's say on the grass, she picks one seed and look here and there, 360-degree, that somebody is coming around him, or maybe like there is always a danger of death to that particular species. So you can understand, even when a small like bird eating, having a lot of danger, even when they are eating it. So similarly, even every creature, animal creature, they have always have in their mind that they can be killed in the next moment. If you see on the road, you see a lot of animals, they died because of the accident, and we really feel bad. And that's how they ended up here. Even they have never thought it, that this is how they're going to die into it. And the worst thing about the animals is nobody is going to come and pick up from the road them. So it's animal life is really like, at least human life is something like where you can make a progress, you can come out of these modes, or you can achieve the Brahman level. So yeah, so animal life is also not good. So if you see, the cow slaughter is considered to be the biggest sin, almost equivalent to killing a Brahman. So study says in the year 2025, Brazil is going to be the biggest exporter of 3.75 million tons of beef of meat to the countries like US, Australia, and Canada. Now you can imagine like where the people are going into it. And in terms of, if I talk about intoxications, which are the symptoms of ignorant people, is the biggest cult in the society nowadays. In 2025, World Health Report says that America, every 3,820 people in the 100,000 people consumes drugs in America. So America is the biggest, everybody knows is a hell. If we go Las Vegas and these places, we already know about it. So with this verse, I would like to recite this sloka. Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahma Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Nama. My Lord, you are the well-wisher of the cows and the Brahmins, and you are the well-wisher of the entire human society and world. So cow is like so much precious. It's like a gold diamond or something like for us, but people in the West, like for them, is just like a beef burger or something like that. So with this, I will move to the next sloka number 17. Satvat sanjayate jnanam rajasu lobha ivacha pramada mohutam so bhavato jnanam ivacha. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. So in this verse, Krishna ji is telling the intermediate results of three modes of material nature. However, we spoke about the end result in the previous verse number 16. And the line which struck me in this verse, like, even if the majority of people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in the mode of goodness, then there is a possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world. So even Bhagwan is saying that there is no need that everybody would come in the Krishna consciousness or everyone becomes so spiritual. That's not at all possible. So let's say there are 33,000 people lives in Coventry, and across all the temples in the Coventry, let's say there are 500 core devotees who really runs, let's say, 10 temples in the Coventry. So you can imagine these 500 people, they can even control these 32,000 people, because if you see on the festival days, not on the normal days, festival days, a lot of students comes, and people who have never visited in the whole year to the temple, even they come. So with these 500 core people, even they are getting a sense, at least remembrance of a god at least once in a year. So somehow it can, maybe not in this life, in the next life, these people can move out from the, if they are in the mode of ignorance, if they are mode of passion, they can move out of it and they can try to come in the mode of goodness. So this is the power of, like, even certain set of percentage of people. That's why Prabhupada say, like, we have to spread this Harinam, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because as more people get connected with it, there will be a more prosperities and peace in the whole world. I will move to the next.
Prabhuji,
Yeah. Haribol.
sorry to disturb you. It's a nice lecture with nice practical example. I like it. One thing you was telling about animals having in constant fear, like when they're eating a grain, they are scared. For example, an eagle may come and kill them or things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But if you see the whole thing, even we are under the same threat. For example, now we can't even go in a train. You get stabbed anytime. You read the news. Anytime any bomb can intonate. And also, eating is what you are telling. For us, eating, when you're working in a job, for example, that is getting money for getting the food, anytime the sword of termination is on your head, anytime you can be laid off. They laid you off for no reason at all. They say that you are made redundant and things like that. That is exactly same as what the animals are suffering. I don't think our suffering is any less than
Yeah. So
others. Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
we are reading this chapter, because we are
Okay.
also in the mode of passion and we are in the mode of ignorance. Even we are on the path of achieving the goodness. We haven't reached to that mode of
Yes.
goodness where we can start
Our,
actual bhakti.
our existence is actually described in the scriptures, pada pada vipadam. At every step there is danger.
Yeah.
For every living
Okay.
entity, every step there is danger.
And
And now
also
we are having
It's
a
covered in
threat
the
from
scriptures.
alien and all. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
also
covered
we
in
are
the
getting
scriptures.
so many things in our life due to our past karmas as well, and this is what it happens because we wanted to rule this world. That's why we are entangled in these three mode of nature. We wanted to rule it, and from our free will we came into this
Mhm.
world, and that's why we wanted to rule. We wanted to rule this world, and we came in this three mode, entangled into it. Now with this realization, we wanted to move the goodness so that we can start our actual bhakti, and we finally have a good realization in the mode of goodness, and we do a lot of practice there. Then we can have a further realization, which the next stage is Brahman. So that realization where you actually can relate or can see the God, where you can see the people from the top, and he can transcend from all three modes of nature. So the person who is in Brahman, he'll be on the top, seeing the people who are in the all three modes of nature. So that thing, at least we have to come in the mode of goodness.
Also, one thing, all the living entities, they are eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. That's the characteristic of living entities, whether they are animals or human beings.
Yes, yes.
So Prabhupada said it, actually, we are two-legged animals.
Yeah.
We're just interested in sleeping, eating, mating, and fearing. That's why we have loads of weaponaries, atom bombs, hydrogen bomb, and everything. It's out of fear, but we are willing to kill others, but we don't want to die, but we're prepared to kill others because we have killing propensity for eating meat and stuff like that. So remember,
Yes.
eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing is part of the living entities format. And so what happens is when you become devotee, and the first quality of the devotee is abhayam, sattva sanshuddhi. That's like 16th chapter, which Pujari they will be taking. First one is you become fearless. Not fearless that you're daring and you're stupid. Fearless means you realize everything happens with the will of the Lord. And I don't have to fear death or anything like that because you're now sober person. Dhiras tatra namuyate. So you're right, Amarnath Prabhuji. Those people
Yes,
who are
sir.
in the jobs and whatever, if they're not really
Yes.
devotees, I was listening to Prabhupada's class today, because all those people you think are intelligent, if they're not Krishna conscious, they're all rascals. Prabhupada called them all rascals. He said because they're not going towards Krishna. It doesn't matter how
Yeah.
clever they are. We are impressed with other people who are superior in material intelligence to us. We're thinking, well, if religion was understandable, they have higher intelligence. How come they are not taking up religion? Maybe they are right. Maybe religion isn't there. No, but that's Maya Aprita Jnanam. Means their Jnanam has been covered by Maya. So they're very
Mm.
intelligent, but they're is covered. So please realize living entity's nature is eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. And if you don't become God conscious, you are two-legged animal. So there you
Yeah,
go.
the fear is more. Yes, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, officially China is like they have removed the like they don't follow any spirituality now. So yeah, officially they have removed like they don't follow any religion. So now you can understand like what's going on in the China.
Yeah, they're
So
all atheists, basically.
yeah. And moving to the next slok, number 18. Urdhavam gachanti satvastha madhye titastani rajashaha jaghanya guna pratistha adho gachanti tamashaha. In this verse, Lord is explaining those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. So if you are in the mode of goodness, there are chances you can go to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. So Prabhupada is saying the more we develop the mode of goodness on this planet, our chances increase to achieve higher planets. The highest planet is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where the prime person of this universe, Lord Brahma, resides. And from my understanding of this verse, the most dangerous mode is the mode of passion. He will simply remain on this earth as a king or a rich man, but due to the mixture of passion and ignorance, a person can possibly become mad in the next life. So because here we are too much into the fruitive actions. Our daily actions are wanted to achieve like a 2-bed house, 3-bed house, 4-bed, and then villa. And we fight too much. Sometimes we have to overcome on a lot of on from the on the lot of people, and we don't think because of the fruitive action we want it. So in this mode, a lot of misery, anxiety that creates, it's because of the mode of passion. There are chances people can become mad in the next life, though they are achieving a lot in this life through because they are passionate about their goal and they are doing pretty much in their job, but there are chances they can become mad in the next life. So
Yes,
this
Prabhu, but actually, the businesses are needed. Without business, life can't exist because we got to work, earn money, and all that. Those are running the business are in the mode of passion. But when you are doing a business, you can't be constant. For example, any company, the profit has to increase because otherwise it has to shut down. You have to pay more to the employee the next year because the prices are going up. Employee demands more salary. There are promotions and all that. So you got to increase the profit. So you see that. Otherwise, how will you run a business? The
so
passion
let's
has to
say
be there.
if you know
Yeah.
the IT came in 1995, isn't it? So before
Yes.
that there was no clue of IT. Computers,
Right.
when the computers came. So do you think there were a lot of jobs like which people have today, like into AI and too much? There were like people
Right.
when there was no money, people used to exchange like grains, rice instead of working,
Barter
right?
system. Yes.
Correct. So at that time the miseries were less, but as the time is passing, we are moving more into the is this Kali Yuga. As we're moving further, these
Yes.
mysteries, these jobs will be created by us. Our will, our desires, these have been created because people are so passionate about it, and that's how it's ending up in such miseries, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
if you see
It's still
1995, there was no
Yeah.
computers, and before that, if you see no computers, and everything started in 1995,
Right.
industrialization. Many countries, if you see, industrialization came very late, and there were still so many tribes which
Right.
are living without all these facilities. But whatever we are creating is our will. Like we wanted to create it, and we wanted to be entangled in three modes of material nature. I hope it clarifies it.
Haribol, I'm sorry, but Amanath, let's stay focused on the topic of this chapter,
Yes.
and let's not have too many side discussions like this.
Pardon me?
We are going into discussions which we can have another time, but not all
Okay, sure.
try and discussing this chapter.
Yeah.
Just because of lack of time, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So moving on to the next sloka number 19. Naya Nanyam Gunveha Kartaram Yada Drashtana Pushyati Guneveyas Chaparam Veti Madbhavam So Digachati. In this verse, when Krishna is saying, when one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work, then these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these three modes, he attains my spiritual nature. So what I understood from this verse is how a person can come out of the lower modes of nature and elevate himself to the mode of goodness. So by the instruction of bona fide spiritual master, that is a much needed. So Bhakti Lata Beach, it's not possible without the spiritual master. When we bow down on his lotus feet, there is because now we are in the three modes of material nature, and who gonna tell us like which mode we are, what is our position in these modes, and whether we can come out, and how much time is going to take. All this will be taken care by our spiritual masters. That's why spiritual master is so important in our life. He will tell what is our position, how we can achieve the goodness, how we can go further on into it, only when we completely surrender to him. So Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, chapter number 19, verse number 151, Brahmand Brahmite Kona Bhagyan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasad Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. So according to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary system. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. So by the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. Actually, it's not easy to come out of the mode of ignorance and passion, only for those who are asking questions day and night about why I am in this world, why there are a lot of miseries, and why things are temporary. So literally, I have, before coming to Krishna consciousness, I have asked the same question to myself, uh, uh, because I was heavily intoxicating, because I was like, yeah, kind of got a job, and then got into all these things because my willpower was very less, and met with wrong set of people, and what they taught me, and I have grabbed that. So my life was very directionless. So after coming from the office, I was literally like trying different business ideas, but nothing worked. So that was kind of like, even I was in both ignorance and passion, but somehow the questions, the desires was coming in my inner will, in my inner heart, that definitely whatever I'm doing, it's absolutely wrong. With this one, I will now move to the next verse number 20. Kunan itan atityatrin dehi deha samudhavavan Janma Mrityu Jara Dukher Bhumukto Mritan Asnunte. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distress, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. So this verse is literally telling that even in the same body, you can achieve that. Means you don't have to die actually to come out of three modes of nature, and and to beat this birth, death, old age, and their distress. Even one can enjoy the nectar, the amrit of what the sadhus, yogis, people are enjoying when they are above the mode of all three modes, and when they are in the Brahman realization. So that even you can do living in the same body, instead of like dying and then only we reaching to the Vaikuntha and deciding later on. So I was thinking before that one has to die to enjoy the nectar and become free from birth, death, and old age and distress. But this verse clarifies a person does not need to die. In the same body, he can enjoy the nectar and can elevate himself as if he is already reached to the higher planets. And when the time comes, can leave the body, and if he was never in this body. So when the time will come, it's the person who is already above the mode of all three modes, he has already left the body. He is not living in the body. That's why he is not entangled into the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And when the time comes, when his body times come, because his soul is now eternal, and when he leaves the body, so he never cares like what actually happened. So at this stage, a person is a Suddha Sattva, pure goodness, got divine eyes. He can see this can be achieved if we engage all our senses completely in the service of Krishna from the time we wake up and the time we go to bed. So Vaikuntha means, Kuntha means miseries. And Vaikuntha means there are no miseries, if I am not wrong in that one.
Haribol, yes. No, that's correct.
Hmm.
But this is key. This verse is key. The purport is small but very important here.
Important one.
It's for everybody's attention. Look, we can get bogged down into a discussion about the three modes and how they act and what are the symptoms and how different people are influenced in different ways. I can really be bogged down in the nitty-gritty. But this is the key verse. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, this is the goal. Why do we do bhakti? Why do we go to the temple and give seva? This is the reason. We want to free ourselves from these three modes, not become experts in describing them.
Yeah.
It's relieve yourself of the three modes and you will be enjoying life, nectar even in this life.
Yeah. So in the next verse, number 21, now Arjuna is inquiring. Let's say now we discussed about three modes of nature. So now Arjunji is inquiring with the Lord, like what are the symptoms of the living entity if a person of living entity is in three modes of material nature, and what are the behaviors of living entity, and how to transcend three modes of material nature, कैसे इन तीनों से बाहर निकले. So that's very important. That's why we are in this chapter, isn't it? Like we wanted to know. That's why Arjuna, on behalf of us, asked these three questions, because he knows that many of us will be suffering on the earth. So at that time, he asked three questions so that we can come out, we can have a realization that what are the symptoms it looks. So when we can monitor our symptoms, we can monitor our behaviors, and how we can transcend three modes of material nature. So Lord is answering in the next 22, 23, 24, and 25, all three questions. So I'll be going on the sloka number 22, which is about the symptoms. Yeah, number 22. Okay. Yeah. I'll be reading all the verses, but I'll be going one by one with the symptoms, behaviors, and the last question, how to transcend from three modes of material nature. Shri Bhagwan Vacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham eva cha pandava na dveshti sampati vitutani na nivritani kankshati. So in this verse, a person who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear. So this verse is speaking about the symptoms of a person, like like three symptoms: illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappeared. So symptoms looks like, if a person is the mode of goodness, no envy and does not hanker for anything. Means if he is sitting on the top of three modes of material nature, and when he transcend all these material natures, so he's on the top and can't see anyone as envy, and nothing hanker to him, and he see everybody as his well-wisher, Because if we are in the mode of nature, definitely we are in a passion, we are in the ignorance, definitely we are envious of each other. People are in the office, they are so much envious, you can't say from their face, but inside they are thinking too much about, like, if you do something good better than them, and the enviousness comes into our heart or inside of it. That's why if you see, like, a lot of politics is happening in the office. But as long as he is not out of the material body, he should be neutral. So Bhagwan is saying, even if you are not out of this material body, still if you are in that, he should be neutral. A person should behave as a neutral and engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. So this is one of the things Bhagwan told in this verse, that even if he is not out of the material body, still in the material modes, he can act as a neutral, like neither, like what happens, like our miseries is based on how we react to the situation. We are not neutral to the things. We overreact, we less react, that's why we have a lot of miseries in our life. So the modes of material nature apply on a body, not on the soul, because soul is spiritual, soul is eternal. The problem is with the body. But what happened, our soul has also identified that I am a body. So that's why entangled into the mode of material nature. And this is the reason these modes are acting on us, because we consider ourselves as a body. So the soul is spiritual, but the problem, soul itself considered I am a body. So I'll move on to the next three slokas, number 23, 24, and 25. So these are the behaviors of a person when somebody is in the modes of nature. So sloka number 23, Udasinavat asino guner yona vichalayate guna vartala iti ivam yo vatistati jnanagate. And sloka number 24, Sama dukha sukha swastha sama lostasma kanchana tulya priya priyo dhiras tulya nindatma samstute. And slok number 25, Manapamanasya tulyas tulyomitari pakshayo sarvaramba parityagi gunatiti sa uchyate. So in this verse, Bhagwan is explaining the behavior of a person of three modes of material nature. So the materially situated person is affected by so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body. So isn't it like we always want honor, we want dishonor, and if somebody dishonor us, that the anger comes, isn't it? And like if somebody, if a person is not getting a honor, in that case the distress come, isn't it? In both the cases, not getting honor and is dishonored. So the person who is above the modes of material nature, he is no more bewildered or bothered with honor and dishonor, whether he'll get it, whether won't get it. Even in the bhakti, what happens, like in India, if you see, there is a management, right? In the management also there is a fight which is going on, because they are not they are still in the modes of material nature, and they expecting honor and dishonor. So in that case, they are also like bounded in the material nature. So he accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna. A person now this is the behavior of a person accepting duty in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or gold. So anything, he's no more worried about anything stone, diamond, or gold. He's only worried about, like, if it is the stone and gold is taking near to me, near to the Krishna, or giving me the forgetfulness of the Krishna. So we have to identify our behaviors, like what we're doing on a everyday basis. Every act, think before it, like it's taking close to Krishna, or this is taking away from Krishna. So I'll speak at the end of the last verse about the 9 qualities that the God is expecting from us, that if we do these things, so definitely we can come over to these 3 modes of nature and can achieve the Brahman, Paramatma, and the actual Supreme. So he takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in execution of Krishna consciousness, and he does not hate his so-called enemy. Even somebody who is not helping in Krishna consciousness, so he's not, the person is not like hating to that person. And So and also we have to be very careful. Like sometimes what happens, some people become a friend to us and they are in the temple also. So we have to very carefully identify, of course we are desiring, that's why we have become friend with him. So that person is speaking outside of the temple as different businesses idea and all these things, and rather than speaking like related to the Krishna consciousness. Let's say our temple needs some time transportation and all these things. So in that case, we can go and help the temple, because that is helping us, our temple devotees, our temple growth, and also like we are coming more closer to the Krishna. So he takes and he's equally disposed, and social and political issues do not affect him. He knows the issues of the world are temporary. The crime is the same. Actually, the crime is the same. Only the criminal and victim is changing. If you see whatever is happening in the whole world, is just like the same crime is happening every day. Only the criminal and victim is changing. Like whatever stabbing happened, 11 people, they stabbed one person. So possibly this could happen after many years again. In that case, what happens, like criminal will change and the victim will change, but things are already there in these modes of nature. With this one, I will move to the next slok number 26. So this completes in the next 26 to 27, Arjuna's reply to the third question. How to transcend three modes of material nature, means how we come out from this mode of material nature. So slok number 26. Mam choyo vyabhicharena bhakti yojena sevate sa gunan samatitayan Brahma Bhuvaya Kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. This is what I was speaking initially. So that's what's the label which is above to these modes of three nature. So anyone who is unfailing in all circumstances with determinations renders services to the Krishna. Person can transcend all modes of material nature and can reach to a stage of Brahman. So the person will be called as a Gunatita, means above all the modes of material nature. And we should not give too much attention to the modes of material nature. The reason we are entangled into this, we are giving too much attention to it. That's why we are still strangled and wondering about like why we're not coming out. So unflinching focus should be on lotus feet of Krishna, only possible through by rendering services at the lotus feet. We have to watch out our activities on a daily basis, like what we do. It's not only about on the Sunday in the temple, it's also about like when we go to home, we spend most of our time, like 6 days at the home. So our activities, we should carefully watch out, like it is taking near to the Krishna, how much time we are putting in the Krishna consciousness, and like what the best you can do it into it, like in terms of reading the books, chanting, and also associating with the devotees on other days. So there is a verse even in the Bhagwan has explained in the chapter number 7, verse number 14. Devi Hesha Gunmahi Mama Maya Dhuratya Mam Eva Pradayante Mayam Etam Tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So everything is all about the surrender, and of course it's not easy. That's why we are practicing here. We need a guru who can tell us which level we are. So, and he can write the guidelines to us. Okay, if you follow this for 6 months or 1 year, then definitely there is a possibility you will come into the mode of goodness. And after certain years, when you have more realization, after more reading, association with the devotees, and mind and the chanting, like it should be very like focused chanting, then definitely there is a chances we can come over above the three modes. So unfailing determination. So modes will play its own role and pull you down, make you feel low. So it's not like that when we do bhakti, then we are completely out of the modes of material nature. Still, these three modes will play its role, and they will sometimes make you feel low. So in this case, what we can do, we can get guidance from our spiritual master. We can frequently meet in a week whenever we feel low, and we can just ask his permission and take his time and discuss with him, okay, this is the reason I was feeling it. So he can definitely, because he is elevated soul, he can really help us to understand, okay, this situation came for this reason, and next time you have to be careful. If you practice these things, and definitely you can overcome with such lowness which you're feeling in your life now. So we are like a gold particle. Every individual in this world is a gold particle, and every living entity is a ansh of Krishna. So he is the supreme, he is a gold, and we are the particle of it. So when we transcend three modes and attain Brahman, doesn't mean we reached on the same level as Krishna. So actually people think when they reach on a Brahman, so we reached at the same level of where the Krishna is, but actually not. After Brahman, there is a Paramatma, which is in our heart. And after Paramatma, we have the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he has given us a stage where we can come over to this material nature, and we can really understand with, not with our material eyes, with our spiritual eyes, what is Krishna is all about, like what is Bhagwan is all about, what this philosophy is all about. So there are three things: Bhakta, Bhakti, and Bhagwan. So if you see, I'm a Bhakta, and there is a Bhagwan, and there is a Bhakti in between. That's why I worship Bhagwan through this Bhakti, which is being given by our Srila Prabhupada ji. And suppose if we remove the Bhakti from it, so then what happens? Like we wanted, many people in India say, yeah, we are Bhagwan. So that's why there is no Bhakti in between. They are feeling at the same position where the Bhagwan is. And that's how the misery starts. So if a Bhakta starts thinking at the same position as Bhagwan, and when where is a Bhakti, and this is what's happening in India, so-called gurus, they started calling themselves as a Bhagwan because there is no Bhakti in between. So how can we come on this platform where we can offer determined services to the Lordship? So the only way is serving the lotus feet of our spiritual master. So it's not directly starts with Krishna that we start serving the lotus feet of it. Of course, we know we have to reach that place, but first four most important thing is, even for me as well, identify the spiritual master, not mechanically, because that's what our senior devotees told, like mechanical process is not like that. You have to, like, there should be inner feeling, the bhav should come into it, and definitely when you cry from inside that, okay, because we came into this world from our own free will, isn't it? We fought with the Lord and he sent us here, and now we are wandering in this world. So from our own free will we came here. Now from our own free will we have to get out from here, and he is giving us a path. This is very wonderful thing. Through the Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavan has explained us that I have given you a path, come back to me again, Vaikuntha. So this includes not only Krishna, but his different plenary expansions. It's not like we have to worship only the Krishna. His plenary expansions such as Ramji, Narayan, that also we have to worship as same as equivalent we are worshipping the Krishna ji. So that helps in developing the serving mode and brings us on a stage where we can offer unalloyed service to the Krishna ji. So Guru's instructions are acting like a shield from three modes of material nature. So living in the same body, living in the same three modes of material nature, what protecting us is the instructions of our spiritual master. Only when we are completely surrendered to our spiritual master, then only we can be shielded with these three modes of nature. So Guru's instruction can help us to cross this Bhavasagar which we are into now. And in the last sloka, which is again the same answer of like how to transcend from three modes of material nature, sloka number 27, Krishna is speaking about Brahman. So Brahmano hi pratisthayam amrita shashvasya cha shashvatascha dharmasya shukhasya kantisya cha. Someone can ask, if I want to attain Krishna, let me read the translation because this is the last one. Yeah. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which we're talking, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. So if someone can ask, if I want to attain a Krishna, why should I attain Brahman first? So there is a verse, Brahmano hi pratisthātham. Pratisthātham. I am the basis of impersonal Brahman. And what are the characteristics? Immortal, imperishable, and eternal. So there are three levels of realizing the absolute truth: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan, which I was speaking in the earlier verses. So Brahman is like, so what is Brahman? Brahman is actually the effulgence coming out from the Lord's body. Brahma Jyoti, and Paramatma is in our heart, and Bhagwan, the absolute truth. So Bhagwan is telling, don't get stuck on Brahman realization, because what happens, even after getting out from these three modes of material nature, when we have a Brahman realization, so that position also could be dangerous, because actually we were the Brahman initially, and when we came in these, and after from the Brahman we fall down and came to these three modes of material nature. So that's what Bhagwan is saying, elevate to Paramatma realization and then attains me, because there are chances you will fall down from the Brahman realization if one not engaged in devotional service. So the living entity, although Brahman by nature, has a desire to lord it over to the material world. So that's why we are entangled into the three modes of material nature, because we wanted to lord it over the material world. With this material manifestation, we wanted to become a lord of it. And due to this, he falls down. So finally, the solution is given in the Bhagavad-gita. Our Srila Prabhupada ji, our Bhagwan ji, he has given us like how we can come out, which is, I think, one of the wonderful thing, by engagement in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. He is immediately situated in the transcendental position, and his unlawful desire to control material nature is removed. If we very focused Krishna consciousness, we do it, and we identify ourselves is in this way we can do the bhakti. So the process of devotional service, beginning with, it starts with, now the actual thing is the starting now these are the instructions. If we follow what I'm going to speak in the next 1 or 2 minutes, we can come out, we can really come out of from three modes of material nature. We have realization all above these modes of material nature. So the process of devotional service starts with hearing, chanting, remembering. With this, our consciousness get uplifted. Hearing the Mahamantra, Kirtan, and lectures. Chanting the holy name with the full remembrance, focusing, very focused chanting, and remembering the pastimes of Lordship, and the devotees' pastimes as well also can help us in the upliftment. So the prescribed 9 methods for realizing devotional service should be practiced in the association of devotees. So Bhagwanji is saying that, okay, I'm giving you the 9 methods of realizing the devotional service, and you can go do it by alone. He never said in this verse that do it by yourself alone. He's saying that should be practiced in the association of devotees only. Sadhu Sangha. So Lord is very simple. One should always engage in the service of the Lord. Should eat the remnants of foodstuff offered to the deity. Yes, whatever, even we are outside, let's say, of course we have to avoid it, but in the worst case scenarios, of course we have to offer it first. And of course, when you are at home, there are no chances that you are eating without offering to the Lordship. This is what I've been doing from last 4 months. Since Guru Sahib Prabhu told me that you shouldn't eat anything without offering to the Lordship. And we are not eating even like small thing. We first offer to the Lordship, go to our temple, and then we come out and then we both eat and smell the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. And of course that which is on the lotus feet of the Lord in our temple, it's like we feel very peaceful when somebody touches the flower in our head and nose, and see the places where the Lord had this transcendental pastime. So places like Vrindavan, Mayapur Dham, and all other places like Gaudiya Math places, all the where our Vaishnavas goes. And mostly I would prefer that going with the Vaishnavas, because they can give us the best realizations of these of these places of the Lordship, and the transcendental pastimes of the Lordship, and reading of the different activities of the Lordship. Of course, we have wonderful scriptures. We have a Bhagavad-gita, we have a Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and a lot of books which have been written by our Gurudev, Prabhupada ji, and his reciprocation of love with his devotees. Chant always the transcendental vibrations, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and observe the fasting days, uh, commemorating the appearances and disappearances of the Lord and his devotees. So in my verses from 16 to 27, we mostly the realization should come out from it is like what are our symptoms, what are our behaviors, and how we can transcend three modes of material nature. Of course, at the last paragraph, Bhagwanji told about these 9 activities, and on top of that, hearing, chanting, remembering with his own consciousness get us a upliftment. So I would say, yeah, everybody should definitely like watch out our activities on a daily basis, like even a small thing which we all act on it when we speak with somebody. We have to watch out, like that is creating a remembrance to the Krishna, or that is taking us to the forgetfulness towards the Krishna. So thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad-gita in the matter of 3 modes of material nature. Thank you.
Okay, that was very good. And both of your speakers stuck to the text and quoted Srila Prabhupada. And it's very, very good. And I would say, how did you prepare yourself?
Like to go
So
first, Akash, Prabhu?
yeah, आप बोलिए प्रभु जी.
नहीं आप पहले बोलिए प्रभु.
Okay. So I spoke to different Vaishnavas, like so Guru Sahib, Prabhuji, wherever I got a time, I spoke to you. And also mostly what I did is first I read the purport completely. I didn't deviate myself from the purport, whatever Prabhupada ji has said. It's not like that I've just gone anywhere and watched anybody's video. But I first completely read the purport, understood each and every verse, Sanskrit, and what's its meaning, and whatever the realization I had. And then I've gone over YouTube, and definitely the qualified Vaishnavas, I watched the video. Like if I can understand more about it, so that I can express myself more into it, because I know it is very deep, and I took your help as well in understanding it, because it's not easy just by reading the English. We got a complete realization about it. It's all about of course, and I didn't speculate anything into my verses. It's everything from like authorized sources and or through the Vaishnavas only. It's not like that from our Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya only and not from other Sampradayas.
So if you had to say in very short, you prepared all that. So what is your essence of what you presented today? In short, if I had to say, okay, suppose you're my friend, I say, oh, you just spoke about Gita, so what did you speak about? So how would you sum it up in short, your realization of it?
Yeah, so I would say like definitely how I will start it. I will start in this way. For example, this chapter really helped me as understanding about the 3 modes of nature. First of all, understanding our position, where we are actually into it. So if let's say if I'm meeting somebody who is not aware about, not more into the bhakti, and he's asking several questions about this chapter. So my essence is is about like everything in this world is temporary. Let's say there is like happiness is for some time, and sorrow is also for some time. And whatever, when I started my career, I wanted to achieve a lot. I was very passionate, and then we landed up here and got a good job again. And then you understand, right? It's still not happy from the inside. So from somewhere from the inside, I was literally feeling that, okay, why things are so temporary? Like why what I did is why it's not fixed it, and why it's changing so frequently. So the change is because of 3 modes of nature we are into it. And now we understood that there is something above this one. Let's say before that I was thinking like there is only earth, but now I've understood there is a different lokas are also there, and each lokas have a different bodies. And also some of the planets, they are having a specific miseries, some of them they are not. So we are in this world, we can come back again, but again you can understand like we can get stuck into the birth, death, old age, and disease. So my realization would be explaining the person that our position is not fixed yet, and there is a possibility we can come out over these miseries which we are having in this life.
Thank you. Well, you see, what I would say is that the 3 modes influence, your destiny, and so that's what the essence is. And if you're in mode of ignorance and then mode of passion, mode of goodness, your destination will be different. And then you can transcend those three modes. Even if you're in mode of ignorance, you can transcend that by actually being in bhakti.
Yes.
So having good association, serving the Lord and whatever. So whatever, it's not that you'll go through from ignorance to passion to goodness. You can do that as well. But if you have the right association, if you're mode of ignorance, suddenly you'll transcend it because the association and serving the Lord. So I would say the three modes are really making you do whatever you're doing. The three modes, combination of it, or just one, or whatever. But we have to, as human beings, we can transcend it. But in animal or any other species, it'll be very difficult for you to ascend it. Yeah. So the three modes are affecting everybody. And if you want to ascend it, then turn to the Lord, turn to bhakti. You can, while you're in this body, it's called Jivan Mukt Jahaj, that you've got actually kind of mukti, means you're liberated from the influence of the three modes, gunatit, as you said. So I would say that would be the essence of the chapter. Thank you. So Manjunath Prabhu, a little.
Well, Prabhuji, in my case, it was again reading the Bhagavad-gita from verse number 1 to verse number 27, along with purports. And along the way, I also listened to some lectures given by senior Vaishnavas. Someone I closely follow is Stoka Krishna Maharaj from Mysore, Karnataka. And there's one
Yes.
devotee in Pune named Sampati Prabhu. So I closely follow them.
He's quite erudite.
Yeah, so these two senior Vaishnavas are someone that I look forward to. And along the way, whenever I had encountered some difficulties in understanding the subject matter, I had some conversation with Guru Sevak Prabhu last week on Sunday to clarify some of my doubts so that I'm clear about the subject matter. Regarding the modes, as Akash Prabhu rightly put up, and you also explained, it's a mixture. The living entities are always in a mixture of three different modes. And to me, it is the association of the devotees which will ultimately transcend from goodness to that state of Vasudeva. And personally, I always felt that if we are following Prabhupada's direction, the direction laid down by the authority, that is the first level of purity. And if you do this much at macro level, you are surrendered. And if we are increasing the quality of sadhana and the quality of service is increased, the quality of surrender goes up automatically. So it is the association for me ultimately which will benefit um, from being in one state to a higher state in devotional service.
And there's a Yug Dharma as well. As one of you mentioned, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva
Yes,
Kevalam.
yeah,
So
that
you
has
got to be, you can have association, but the wrong kind of association.
right.
And there could be impersonalists, and you will think it's all impersonal.
Yeah,
And then even the yogi level is not the ultimate one. And it's the actually Sankirtan. And we are training you to become speakers of Bhagavad-gita, and that is preaching. So you can see that is also very important. That's our duty of a devotee, to enlighten other people. So you done good, and just realize whoever you're talking to, sometimes you can work out what mode they are. And if somebody's Naradama or lowest of the men like that, just give them prashadam. No good explaining philosophy to them. So don't have a set formula in your head that I'm going to say this and this and they'll buy it. It's like a child. He's not going to understand philosophy. So you make him dance and sing and whatever, so they'll do it. So please, these three modes are affecting you, and they're affecting the people you're relating to. And the world also, sometimes the whole of the planet Earth would be more of darkness or more of passion, and depending who's ruling. Before, Brahmanas used to rule, then the Kshatriyas start to rule. Now the Vaish, that's why you have loads of corporates who are ruling the world, and it's commercial, everything is commercial. And one day will come, he'll be Shudras, like in Sudan now. You know, there's civil war going on. People of, I think they're all Islam, they're killing each other. And I just saw a lot of people killing each other, real mode of ignorance. And the leaders got guns, all of them. How's that welfare work? So depending who's ruling the country and whatever, then